are actually handling the problem, and they're doing whatever they can to, and so on, so on. They have tapped into hell itself. There is absolutely nothing they can do. Only two things can do this. That is divine intervention, or nature restore itself and plug the hole. They cannot do it. And meanwhile, as A.C. Griffith, he says, all these toxins are being pushed inwards through the layers, and they will contaminate everything it touches, and everything in it will also die. And you talked about the crops. According to Sacramania, it's this last year's harvest of crops, that means corn, soybean, and wheat, was sailed to China. China did not want the American dollar as payment for the debt they are into them. So they took our food. Now this year's food, which is supposed to be harvested, it is destroyed. So not only do we have disaster when it comes to our environment, but the food chain is broken now, and we will starve to death if we are not prepared. And what I've said all along in all this Gulf oil spill, that is, please people understand, you need to leave Gulf states. You need to get out now while you still have time. In the 11th hour, it is too late. You need to leave now. This is serious stuff.
Do you think, Henning, that, I don't know if you paid attention to the Indonesian mud volcano that's going on over there, that they can't stop either, because another energy company went too far, they hit a pocket of gas, or whatever they hit, and now this thing's spewing 100,000 tons of mud a day and burying a city, not to mention filling, this mud is filled with methane gas, and they can't stop it. Is this a similar situation to the situation going on in Indonesia? Because, again, like I said, the only way that that's going to correct itself is naturally. They can't stop it. Do you think we're in that same place here?
Yeah. This is a runaway train, as I have earlier stated. There is absolutely nothing they can do. Pandora's box is open now, and now we will see all the horrors we can possibly imagine. That is what is coming out of this.
I just watched a movie last night, Griff and Henning, called The Road. And, man, you want to talk about something that was a chilling movie. I often wonder, because we're seeing a lot of apocalyptic movies going on in Hollywood, just where these people get their information from. And this movie in particular was scary because of the fact that everything was just dead. And, there was no vegetation. The vegetation wouldn't grow. Humans had gotten to the point where they were resorting to cannibalism to survive. And it doesn't. What people don't understand is it doesn't take long to get there. The food that's left will be consumed in a very short period of time. Very short period of time. So the thing that you have to understand, especially in a situation like this, and like Henning said, is if you have the opportunity now to make a change and to get out of that area, then do so. I mean, this is sick, what's going on. And what's even more sick is the fact that it's being covered up. And Griff, I don't know if you saw that movie. If you haven't, you should really check it out. But is this? Do you see this as an extinction level event, or do you see this as something more of knock us back a couple of hundred years, or what? How do you see this event affecting humanity?
Between this event, or the Gulf event, and the Israel-Iran event coming up, it's going to knock us back to the earth. We're going to be crawling in the mud. Nothing is going to be the same. You will not have indoor plumbing. You will not have sewer systems. You will not have water piped into your house. You will not have electricity. You won't be able to go to the store for food. All of that is over. It's over. And I want to tell you that in 2 previous broadcasts that I remember, I've used the word cannibalism. I think that will occur in pockets.
now something that I see is the first place that you're really going to have that civil unrest, of course, is the population centers, because there is where you have the most reliance on services, on people there are the least prepared to be able to handle a catastrophic event. And I just don't see a good outcome from this. And then, not to mention the fact, this is kind of something totally off the subject with the Gulf, but if you take a look at what's going on now cosmically, like I said, I notice it's extremely hot. And what's even more interesting is the fact that, and I noticed this, that the radiant heat that I feel coming from the sun when I go outside is much stronger now than it has been in the past. Now we know that solar cycle 24 has been extremely quiet, but NASA has been putting out subtle hints along every so often. You'll see some subtle hints. Get ready, they're very possible that coronal mass ejection would cause an EMP and knock everything out, and we have those coupled with, we have the Mayan prophecies, we have everything else going on. What do you guys think? And Henning, I'm going to pose this to you. I don't know how much you're into astronomy or if you've been following the sun at all, but do you feel that that's going to be a contributing factor also in the coming years?
Yeah. And you just have to go to the revelation in the Bible where it clearly states that men will be scorched by the sun. That means you will not be able to be out in daylight. You will only be able to move at night because the sun is not there, or else you will possibly be burned by the sun. Something is going to happen with the sun. Yeah, I would say in the foreseeable future, I believe from where I stand as a Christian, tribulation starts this year. It is this year. Again, that is my take.
Well, as a Christian, I also feel that we are definitely entering the tribulation phase, and that there is going to be some serious things to cope with, and our government has known. Our government, not only our government, but the world government is coming to that realization too, and we can see in the planning that they're undertaking that they know something big is on the horizon. Or why else would they build deep underground military bases? Or why else would they build in haste a seed vault in a mountainside in the Arctic Circle in 2007? And here's another thing too, folks, because of the problems that we could be facing environmentally from this disaster, we almost can't bank on the fact that you're going to be able to grow crops in the ground, especially if not for the oil, then the solar, the heat. So the best type of thing to do in that situation is to stockpile as many seeds. You can live off of sprouts if you grow them indoors. You can do that very easily. And I'll tell you what, folks, there's a reason why they're building these DUMBs, and these DUMB bases, or the deep underground military bases, have their own atriums and their own gardens that they grow indoor crops. Why do you think that is? Because they see something coming down the pipe.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
They're also contributing to it. What I don't understand is, if they're having all these bunkers, right, and they want to survive, why do they want to pollute our Earth with all these very, very risky offshore drillings? When all the disasters and all the wars pass, what is left to grow anything on? You have
Griff, you want to answer that?
I don't think you can apply normal logic to anything that's going on today. Normal logic and reason, clear thinking is not out there.